Welcome back. If you joined us from part 1, this is part 2 of the Q&A, which is dedicated to Mike Lacey. You can follow him on Twitter at mlacey91. So these are his questions. I haven't prepared anything for these, apart from one thing, which you'll see in a minute. Tell me about the characters that you were not vested in before your current comic reading adventure that you're going to really like after reading stories featuring them. Okay, number 1 is Deathstroke, because of Arrow, as I've said in my last video. Number 2 would, right, let's see, so, hold on, Storm would be another one. Oops, just wrecked the place. Nova, actually, I'm really enjoying that. I need to pick up quite a few of them to actually get me back up to get back up to speed on them. But Nova, certainly, I've really enjoyed that series. It's just been quite comedic and just very good to do, very good to read. So they would be, alright, so I said Deathstroke, I said Nova, I said Storm, Cyclops obviously. I've never been a big Cyclops fan, but just the ongoing series I've really enjoyed. Wow, I'm talking like I've got a question mark at the end of it. So those 4 would be ones I'll probably kick myself and forget one later on. What is on your pull list? Which current titles are you buying or reading on a monthly basis? Right. Every month I go through the big previews catalogue and kind of go through that and write down what I'm wanting to get. So this is my pulls for April. Oh, what is my March one actually? I think I've thrown that out. Right, for April. Spider-Gwen, number 3. Cyclops, number 12. All New Hawkeye, number 1. Avengers Ultron Forever. Avengers Millennium. Ladykiller, number 4. Darth Vader, number 4. True Believers Civil War. Storm, True Believers Plant Hulk. Arrow, season 2.5, issue 7. Leia, 3 out of 5. Silk, number 3. True Believers, Old Man Logan, House M, Superior Iron Man. That's another great series. Never really read Iron Man, so Superior Iron Man would be one. Convergence, Green Arrow. I'll pick that up and see what it's like. Star Wars, number 4. Amazing X-Men, number 19. True Believers, Armor Wars, number 1. Infinity Gauntlet, number 1. Uncle Scrooge, number 1. True Believers, Miles Morales. True Believers, Age of Ultron. Fantastic Four, 645. Superior Iron Man, number 8. And that's my pulls for April. I'll probably add more to that because that's what we all seem to do, is that we all set out with, oh, this is what I'll get. And oh, I've seen, you know, I've seen X-Hammer X talk about this. I've seen Ali Reed's Comics talk about this. I've seen Holy Batgirl talk about that. I've seen Carnage Man 99 talk about that. I've seen We Love Comics. I've seen Retro Rebel. I've seen Mark Newton 89. I've seen Simon's Comics Corner. You get the idea. Some people will talk about something different. I'm surprised that I named that many without taking a breath. But you see so many people talk about different comics, and that's how there's other things like that Orphan Black that I picked up yesterday. Give me an example of a book or series that you're really excited for, looking forward to, that you're ultimately disappointed by. I've kind of answered that. Spider-Man and the X-Men was one of them. Big fan of Spider-Man, big fan of X-Men. Put them both together, and what do you get? Oh, you get peanut butter and jelly, but somebody's not put the bottom of the plate, and the peanut butter and jelly sandwich is just falling flat on the floor, and you don't want to eat it. That's a terrible analogy, but these are two. That and Doctor Who. Rocket Raccoon I kind of enjoyed for the first 4 issues, and then the art started getting weird, and I thought, no, I don't want to pick that up anymore. There's some of them that I've picked up the first couple of issues and enjoyed, and then I need to get back into that, but that's the kind of polar end of what you're asking. But they're big disappointments. Another one was a Spider-Man one? Astonishing Spider-Man and Wolverine, which was, it was terrible. It's probably the worst thing I've actually read by Jason Aaron, to be honest with you. I was actually appalled whenever, because I know a bit more about comics now, I read that and it was just like, that was him? Oh my god, that was terrible. But I just did not enjoy that at all. List 5 characters that you've never read or really read very little of that you'd be interested in reading stories in which these characters were featured. Right, okay. Batgirl, because I've heard so many things being said about Gilson's run on Batgirl and Birds of Prey as well. You know, obviously I know now that Birds of Prey is to do with characters from like Green Arrow, and I didn't know that before. I didn't think it was the stories to do with, like, you know, hawks and things like that, going around killing, you know, animals and things like that. I should really stop talking whenever I get the chance. So yeah, so Batgirl. I'm trying to think. I should have really thought about these. I'll come back to that one then. I'll try and think of a couple and see. What are your thoughts? Oh, right. Am I looking forward to the Netflix series Daredevil show with Luke Cage, Iron Fist and Jessica Jones to follow? Yes, I am. It can't be any worse than the film, is the way I'm looking at it. From the trailer, it looks very interesting. And, you know, like, I'm always, if they're on Netflix as well, you know, I'm always open to give them a chance and see what they're like. I'm looking forward to the Jessica Jones one because David Tennant, represent, is obviously going to be playing a villain in it. But yeah, you know, it's like with some of the Marvel movies, like Guardians of the Galaxy, I had no idea what it was, watched it, loved it. With these here, you know, like, I have no real idea who Iron Fist is. I've read a bit of Luke Cage, I have no idea who Jessica Jones is, so I'll probably want to pick more of them up. So far it's Batgirl, Jessica Jones and Iron Fist. So there are three of the answers there. I'm going to hold up three here until I've answered the rest of the question. What are your thoughts on the Power Rangers short film? I've watched the first, like, couple of minutes of it and turned it off because I was kind of tired and it was 50 minutes long and I was like, it's getting annoying now. I kind of don't want to watch all of this, so I've yet to watch it all. I've heard, like, Jason David Frank was approached to be in it, but he said that was a bit more violent than he was comfortable with. So yeah, so there we go. Right, going back to that question because there's one other question left, and it says, and finally. So there's those ones there. I haven't really read a great deal of Batman, to be honest with you. I mean, he's not Batman Court of Owls really is the first trade of Batman that I have read, you know, from start to finish. So there's going to be Batman on that. Mainly they're, you know, I've said, you know, well, some of them are Marvel ones as well. And to be honest with you, I haven't really read a lot of Iron Man. I haven't really read a lot of the classic Iron Man. I haven't really read a lot of the classic Spider-Man. You know, and they'd be ones that I would love to read. I would love to read classic Hulk, Spider-Man, Iron Man, you know, classic Avengers, things like that. I've never really read Avengers-centric stories either. So I'm going to kind of change my answers now. If there was 5 characters, it would be Amazing Spider-Man. You know, like, Spider-Man, I've read, like, Marvel Knight Spider-Man and Superior Spider-Man, Spider-Man's been off and on. Hulk, I haven't really read that much of, you know, because I find that the current run of Hulk isn't that great, and I like to go and collect some of the older ones. I'd like to read some Batman, you know, like classic Batman. You know, I've heard, like, Hush and Killing Joke and things like that are really good. So these are all, you know, these are all mainstream characters, and, you know, and things like that. And then I would like to read some Jessica Jones and some Iron Fist or Daredevil or whatever. Anything that kind of, I'm willing to give anything a try. If somebody recommends and somebody says, I've read this book and it's brilliant and I love this comic and this comic was great. If I can pick it up and cheap enough and I can pick it up and I can read it, I'm all for it. So yeah. And his last question is, and the question everyone wants answered, gold and white or blue and black? Well, you see, there's a problem with this question, is that it was actually gold and silver or blue and red. So I don't know if this is to do with Pokemon. So I'm going to say that it's blue and red. I'm just going to be different and say blue and red. Of course, I know it's something to do with a stupid dress that I've no idea why on earth people are asking what colour is this dress. It's like saying, oh right, that's fine. You know, what colour is this t-shirt? In fact, I'm not even going to go there, because then I'll get comments from people saying, like, oh, it's white and blue, or it's green and red, and things like that. So yeah, it's just a case of I was completely bemused by why people were commenting on what colour this dress was, and now I've fallen into the trap. It's a trap of answering the question of what colour that stupid dress is. Even though he didn't ask me directly, that's what I was insinuating. but I wanted to make it a Pokemon reference and say blue and red were the better ones than gold and silver. Gold and silver were good, but blue and red were better. So yeah, thanks Mike for posting them. I hope I've answered some of your questions and things like that. If not, sure, Facebook me and then we'll try and clear it up that way. But yeah, Mike always seems to get videos dedicated to him, you know, this one and then obviously Christmas one, whenever he sent me that big Hulk statue there, and the Starlight comics, which were brilliant. I'm picking up a lot more Mark Millar stuff now because of that, and I really enjoyed that, and that's why I did a review on it, because I don't think a lot of people read the Starlight comic, and if you haven't, I would highly recommend that you do. Something very, very different. You know, obviously we get all these superhero ones, and it kind of is, he's a bit superhero-ish, but superhero with a twist. But it's just a really good comic and really good read, and you can pick it up in trade. A funny film nice, but if you haven't read it, I would say that would be my comic recommendation for February. For February? Well, it's the 1st of March, so yeah, for last month, and then I'll try and think of one for this month. But yes, if you enjoyed watching this, why not give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe if you haven't hit subscribe already, and leave a comment. As I've said time and time again, this is how I find out about your channel. Obviously, if you subscribe to my channel, I get an email to say that you have. I will then click on your name, watch a couple of videos, and if I like what I see, I'll subscribe back. I'm not one of these people that'll sub to channels, go like, oh, I subscribe to your channel, please sub to me. But yeah, obviously, support one another and love one another, and recommend comics to one another. That is the whole point of this community, is to be nice to one another and to recommend stuff to one another and to see what other people enjoy that we might not, and we may say, well, I don't enjoy that, but I respect your decision for reading that comic and talking about it, and here's what I'm going to talk about today. Yeah, and I've rambled on long enough, so thank you for watching part 1, and if you watch part 2 as well, deuces to you, as they say. And thanks for watching, and until next time. It'll be a while before I do a video, I promise. Probably do one tomorrow or Thursday.